Hey guys, this is Karan back with another video. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the hottest releases of 2021, the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. But before I proceed, however, I must give a huge shout out to all my friends, members and fellow administrators on Watch Enthusiasts India, which is India's fastest growing private social media platform for watch collectors, and Divers Watches Facebook group, the largest Facebook group for fans of divers watches. Both of these are my absolute favorite groups. There is tons of daily discussion and wrist shots all the time, and you can join these groups in the links in the description box below. You can also follow me on Instagram to participate in my daily watch journey. While the Swiss watch industry was reeling under the quartz crisis in the 1970s, Tissot was one of the few watchmakers to make a name for themselves by embracing quartz technology and bringing out multiple lines of affordable and popular wristwatches. At the same time, the trend of the integrated steel bracelet sports watch was raging in full steam, and Tissot in 1978 decided to marry the two by releasing the PRX with a quartz movement. Ultra popular, extremely affordable option in the world of the Patek Philippe and the Audemars Piguet, the PRX was a major hit. In 2020, Tissot announced the reissue of the PRX in a modern 40mm case, but with a quartz movement, retaining the classic 70s styling of the oblong cushion case shape, the alternate brush and polish finish, and the integrated steel bracelet. While the fandom was pretty impressed with this release, there was a sizable portion of people who kind of cried out for the automatic version of this watch, and Tissot did not disappoint. In 2021, the PRX Powermatic 80 was announced to much fanfare, and the demand for these watches has been so high that international retailers are unable to hold stock for long periods of time. Whatever they get is sold out immediately, and I had to personally hound the Tissot India team to get this watch on my wrist after 4 months. So without wasting much time, let me get on to the unboxing. The box has a paper outer sleeve. Now this watch box with a red lid is totally made out of 100% recyclable materials. This is Tissot taking a step in the right direction. When we open up this box, we see the watch inside. Let's take that out. Underneath that is probably the warranty card and manual. Now, full disclosure, I took out 3 links from the bracelet to wear this watch because I just could not wait. On the side of the box, there is a flap which has these paper cutouts that show the progression of the Tissot watchmaking facility over the years, along with their logo in Eli Local, Switzerland. That is a nice touch, reminding us fans of what Tissot stands for in the world of watchmaking and collecting. Let's put all of this away and focus on the watch. Right, so this is the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. First things first, the case has distinct segments here, and the most prominent is the angular flat mid case, which is oblong and cushion shaped and has matte brushed finishing all over. The sides have horizontal brushing, whereas the top section has vertical brushing. There are also these chamfered edges that are mirror polished. This mid case makes up the overall dimensions of the watch, which stand at 40mm across without the crown and 47.6mm edge to edge. The next segment is the mirror polished circular bezel around the dial aperture. The bezel has 2 separate facets finished similarly, and as it slopes upwards towards the dial, we can see a part of the sapphire crystal protruding above the bezel. The last segment is the polished and see-through caseback underneath. I had assumed that this protruding caseback would add a lot of thickness to the watch and affect wearability, but this masterpiece of a design proved me wrong. The downward curving mid-case makes this watch wear extremely slim on the wrist without much overhang on any side. And then the remarkable 10.9mm thickness sets this watch above most of the casual sports watches available in the market today. In fact, and this made my jaw drop in surprise, the 10.9mm thickness, despite carrying a full automatic movement inside, is only 0.5 or half a millimeter more than the quartz variant. That is crazy stuff. Okay, up top is a sapphire crystal with generous layers of anti-reflective coating applied, which helps us gaze unimpeded at the brilliant dial and time-telling features. This is the blue variant with a waffle or tapestry pattern, while the quartz versions carry sunburst non-textured dials. Both the quartz and automatic variants have a blue, a black and a silver dial with gilt accents in their lineup. The dial is a pleasure to look at. The light plays off beautifully off it. In the few days that I have owned this watch, I caught myself staring at the watch multiple times under the guise of checking the time. The dial has Tissot printed under the 12 o'clock marker, and under that is 1853, the year of the founding of Tissot. The texts PRX and Powermatic 80 are printed above the 6 o'clock marker. At 3 o'clock there is a date window framed by an applied steel frame, and the date window is white with black markings on it. I would have preferred the date window to be black with white markings on it to kind of keep a homogeneous look, but well, I can't complain much here. The rest of the markers are applied onto the dial, and it all comes together beautifully to give an appearance of high quality and value. The time is demarcated by simple baton style hands that are brushed vertically and have luminous material filled inside. Okay, so there is a simple push-pull crown on the 3 o'clock side, which honestly is a bit too small for my large hands, but I guess it sticks to the original design aesthetic, and there is no loss in functionality anyhow. The crown can be pulled out to the outermost position for time setting, a middle position for changing the date, and fully pushed in for winding. When we turn the watch around, we see a see-through case back with the Powermatic 80 movement inside. Now this is a modified standard ETA 2824-2 movement and is not decorated much. The rotor, however, does have these laser engravings in the form of waves and the Tissot logo. When we say Powermatic 80, we mean that the movement has a power reserve of 80 hours. That's more than 3 days. And this is achieved by lowering the beat rate of the movement to 3 Hz. In simple terms, the timekeeping accuracy of a movement is directly proportional to the beat rate and the power reserve. If one increases the power reserve, then the beat rate has to be lowered to maintain accuracy. Now this movement also carries the Nivacron mainspring, which is made from a titanium alloy, thus rendering it completely anti-magnetic, and this watch is not much prone to magnetization if kept over computers and around electrical equipment. Now moving on from the technical back to the aesthetic, we now come to one of the biggest features of this watch, the integrated steel bracelet. Finishing wise, the vertical brush finishing of the mid case flows directly onto the front aspect of the links, while the interlocking facets and sides of the links are polished to retain the dual-tone finishing of the mid case. The bracelet tapers down to an extent and then straightens out to give the watch a substantially higher wearability. Had the links tapered continuously down to the clasp, it would have given the watch a very dainty and flimsy look. Thankfully they didn't, and so this watch is all the better for it. The bracelet ends at a simple butterfly style push button deployment clasp with Tissot and 1853 engraved on the ends. For my 7.5 inch wrist, I had to remove a total of 3 links, 2 from the bottom end and 1 from the top end. The bracelet surprisingly also carries 2 half links on either side of the clasp for giving one a better fit. Another excellent feature of the bracelet is that the topmost links, which attach to the mid case, are slightly shorter, or you can say narrower, than the following links. A sort of half link system, if you will. There is a purpose to this. If you see the side profile of the watch, you will see that the first links flow outwards from the case and hence are slightly less articulating. Thanks to these shorter links, the restriction in movement doesn't affect variability at all, because had these top links been of a full size, they would have extended the overall edge-to-edge vertical dimension of the watch, making it feel and wear bigger than it really is, and probably also leading to a rigid oblong fit on the wrist. Lastly, the bracelet, while a custom fit with non-standard lugs and fitment, surprisingly has a quick release system on the underside. This makes me think that Tissot maybe has plans to introduce leather and rubber options for the PRX models with a quick release adapter system on those options. And if that is right, we are all in for some good times. Now let me show you how the watch wears. Like I said earlier, I had to take out 3 links and I have a 7.5 inch wrist for reference. Now look at that. The watch wears beautifully, snug and without much play. I think there is sufficient breathing space under the bracelet, and the height of the watch is a stunner in that it doesn't leave much gap between the end links and the wrist. And at 10.9 millimeters, this watch is super slim and highly fun for an entry-level brand. All in all, I think the PRX models are absolute winners from Tissot. If I absolutely had to nitpick, then I would highlight the smallish crown, the presence of a quick release system on the bracelet without any signs of fitted straps in the pipeline, and the dim loom. Now, fun fact, this is my first Tissot in over 6 years, and that speaks volumes, because while I appreciate Tissot for what they do and what they stand for, I was really not interested in any of their products for the longest time. Sure, the Sea Star divers and the odd automatic chronograph piqued my interest, but they still weren't worthy enough for me to put down my money. The PRX quads changed that to a large extent, and the Powermatic 80 releases got me hunting these watches down with a zeal I thought had long left me. I mean, what's not to love? Classic 70s style design and finish, beautiful dial and clean time telling, those handful of small features that make the watch a truly great timepiece, and all at the price of 53,500 Indian rupees, it easily scratches that itch. Heck, I might get flack for this, but with this in my box, I don't care one bit for the Zenith Defy, the Chopard Alpine Eagles, and the Maurice Lacroix icons of the world, and so many other similarly styled releases from the last 5 years. I can easily bide my time until I get the granddaddy of all steel sports integrated bracelet watches, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Now, this watch is really that good. It's a winner in the present and a hit classic of the future. Now, the blue and black variants of the PRX Powermatic 80 are priced at Indian rupees 53,500 or US dollar 650, and the silver dial with gilt accents is priced at rupees 55,500 or US dollar 675. These are an absolute bargain at the price. And that said, I'm organizing a group purchase for the Tissot PRX models. So if you want to purchase one in India, please do get in touch with me on Instagram. And as always, thank you for watching.